in sales, there are certain things that you can do that will move the needle, okay? The most important thing you can focus on is probably going to be like your intention, your offer, your strategy, and the questions that you ask. But what should you focus on once you kind of have that in place a little bit? Obviously, we want to be a good listener, but we also want to be a good speaker in sales. So this a lot of the times comes down to how well you can manage your voice. It's things like articulation, things like intonation, things like how you emphasize your sentences. These are all things that can really make a big difference. Now, if you are someone who is doing a lot of consultative selling, you might not actually be doing a lot of talking. But for every question you ask, this like magnifies, because every question you ask, like if you can have good intonation in that question, that alone oftentimes will do so much work, all right? And you will be surprised, especially if you haven't tried this, to actively manage your intonation, you will be surprised at the effects that this can have, okay? You won't start to notice this until you actually go out and do some repetitions. Because if you're in several sales meetings and you've been doing what you do, now start paying some attention to how you say certain things, and especially like the intonation. If you can do that, you will start noticing how people will change. Because before, they might have a certain, a little bit like neutral or a little bit negative reaction. And if you can insert a good tonality in your question, or just the way you speak, then you will notice it can make like a day or night difference, right? So even if you are consultative, even in your individual questions, that can make a very big difference. But especially when it's time to pitch, now it's time to prove that you are a great speaker. Because obviously pitching is a lot about like transferring emotions and certainty to your prospects. Now you're not gonna magically do that, right? There's a way we do that in sales, and a lot of it really has to do with how well you speak, and oftentimes also like your body language if you're in a physical situation, right? And we can get into the debate of whether energy exists or not, but the fact is, these things like tonality and body language and how well you can speak will determine how well you can transfer emotions, how well you can transfer certainty, and how well the quality of your pitch will be. Now, this doesn't mean that the louder you speak, the better result we're gonna have. It doesn't mean that the lower your tone of voice, that you're gonna get a better result. It's much more nuanced than that. But it does come down to that. If you can have a great speech, then that's going to do a lot, right? Obviously, once you've had your discovery, you want to have maybe some kind of like a good script for your pitch, and you probably want to be tailoring your pitch to what you've actually talked about with this prospect. That in itself is going to do a lot. But then if you can speak well, if you can have a good, actually just managing your voice, right? If you want to be sincere, show that in your voice. If you want to be a little bit more action oriented, like we're going to change this, show that in your voice. If you want to give your prospect the feeling of certainty, show that in your voice. Give them sincerity, show that you're genuine. If you can do that, like how you're going to do that is by using your voice in the right way. So start doing that and notice the effects it has on people and on your prospects. Because I promise you it will make a big difference. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys later. Cheers.